Rangers are once again stepping into a battle with Celtic, only this time the fight won't be played out on the pitch, but behind the scenes, in the unforgiving arena of the transfer market. Both clubs are reshaping their squads ahead of what promises to be another intense campaign, and all eyes are now fixed on a rising European prospect who's becoming one of the most talked about names this summer. With the left side of defense a priority at Ibrox and Celtic, also on the hunt for reinforcement. In that same area, the scene is set for a fierce tug-of-war between Glasgow's eternal rivals. The player in question, a highly rated young talent with experience in one of Europe's top leagues. He's shown flashes of brilliance at senior level, is hungry for consistent minutes, and offers a skill set that suits the needs of both clubs. He's not just a name for the future, he's someone who can make an immediate impact. And that's why the race is heating up fast. Reports suggest that Rangers have already taken the initiative quietly, making moves behind the scenes to put themselves in a favorable position. But with Celtic now firmly in the mix, this won't be a straightforward chase. The pressure is on, and the next steps could define not only the player's future, but also which club gains a critical advantage going into the new season. Interest in this young fullback isn't limited to Scotland either. Clubs from France, Germany, and the Netherlands are said to be circling, monitoring the situation closely. But the spotlight right now is firmly on Glasgow, where both Rangers and Celtic know exactly what's at stake. For Rangers, the urgency is especially clear, with Max Aarons, traditionally a right back, being asked to cover the opposite flank, and Ridvan Yilmaz seemingly edging closer to an exit. The need for a natural left back is growing louder by the day. Brazilian defender Jefte, another option in that area, also has question marks surrounding his future. It's left the squad exposed, and that vulnerability is now forcing the club's hand. That's where Casimir Casey Ouattara comes in. The French under 21 international has become the latest name linked to both Glasgow Giants, and it's not hard to see why. At just 20 years of age, Ouattara already has a dozen League One appearances under his belt with Monaco, a club renowned for developing top-level talent. But with game time limited last season and Monaco reportedly reluctant to sanction a loan, the door is open for a permanent move, provided someone is willing to meet the price. And that price is steep. Monaco are believed to be holding firm. On a valuation of around £13 million, that's a bold figure, but one that reflects both his potential and the years left on his current contract, which runs until 2028. Rangers and Celtic have both made inquiries, according to reports, out of France, but Monaco are clear, no loans, no options, just a straight sale. That complicates things for any club hoping to bring Ouattara in without stretching their summer budget, but it also raises the stakes. Because whoever lands him won't just be signing a player, they'll be landing a symbolic victory over their fiercest rival. For Rangers, who are building a squad that can compete both domestically and in Europe, this kind of move could send a strong message about the club's intent. For Celtic, still retooling after some high-profile departures, it would be an equally bold statement. There's no question that Ouattara ticks the right boxes. Fast, composed, defensively alert and confident pushing forward, he offers the kind of versatility and tactical intelligence that modern managers crave. He's already impressed in preseason, even scoring in a friendly against Torino. And while other clubs, including PSV Eindhoven and Augsburg, are sniffing around Rangers, need for a specialist on the left gives them a unique edge. They aren't just interested, they are motivated. The tension only ramps up when you factor in what's at stake this season. Rangers are trying to build something that lasts. Under Russell Martin, there's a clear vision taking shape. A team that can play high-tempo, aggressive football. That can compete in Europe and challenge Celtic week in, week out. To do that, the squad needs depth, quality, and consistency, especially in key positions like fullback. Last season proved how quickly things can unravel when injuries hit or form dips. That's why this pursuit of Ouattara, or someone like him, is more than just about plugging a gap. It's about laying the foundations for a team that can thrive under pressure. Meanwhile, over at Parkhead, Celtic are navigating their own changes. Greg Taylor's move to Italy left a void at left back. And while interim solutions have been explored, it's clear they're in the market for something more permanent. Ouattara's profile fits the bill. Young, technically sound, and with a high ceiling, he could be molded into a key player for years to come. But the challenge for Celtic is the same as it is for Rangers: act fast or risk missing out. And acting fast is easier said than done. Negotiating with Monaco is never simple, especially when they feel they hold all the cards. The French club has no financial pressure to sell and can afford to wait for the right offer. That puts the onus on both Glasgow clubs to make a move and to do so decisively. The longer this drags on, the more chance there is for another club to swoop in. And that's the nightmare scenario neither Rangers nor Celtic can afford right now. But there's something more intangible at play here, something rooted in pride, identity, and momentum. A signing like Ouattara is not just about filling a tactical need. It's about showing fans that their club can outmaneuver their greatest rivals. It's about proving that when it matters most, they can move faster, negotiate better, and convince top young talent to choose their colors over someone else's. That's the kind of psychological edge that can ripple through a season. All of this is unfolding against the backdrop of Rangers' latest European campaign. Russell Martin's side showed grit and control in their two-legged clash with Panathinaikos, managing a well-earned aggregate win to book their place in the third qualifying round of the UEFA Champions League. That kind of result builds belief. It builds trust between the players and the manager. And it creates the kind of atmosphere around a club that can be a powerful tool when trying to lure players like Ouattara, who are desperate for minutes and hungry for the spotlight. Ouattara isn't just looking for any move. He's looking for the right move. Somewhere he can develop play regularly and test himself on the biggest stages. Rangers, with their passionate fan base, European ambitions, and need for a dynamic left back can make a compelling case. But Celtic won't go down quietly. They've got their own selling points, their own ambitions, and their own gaps to fill. The days ahead could be decisive. Monaco are waiting. Ouattara is watching. And in Glasgow, two clubs are now locked in a silent war, each hoping to land a player who could shape their season before a ball has even been kicked in anger. Whether it's Ibrox or Parkhead that wins the race, one thing is certain: this transfer story is just getting started. While all eyes remain fixed on the transfer chessboard, Rangers are also balancing the heat of the market with the pressure of European football. And their latest result on the continent has given supporters plenty of reasons to be optimistic. In a tie that demanded mental toughness and tactical discipline, Russell Martin's men stood firm. After a hard-fought 1-1 draw against Panathinaikos in a boiling hot hostile atmosphere in Athens, the job was done. Combined with the 2-0 win, and Glasgow Rangers booked their place in the third qualifying round of the Champions League with a 3-1 aggregate victory. It wasn't always pretty, but it was controlled, composed, and exactly what was needed. Moments like this matter, not just for what they mean on the pitch, but for what they signal off it. Russell Martin, still early in his tenure at Ibrox, is already forging a clear identity. His side is still a work in progress. No one's pretending otherwise. But the direction is unmistakable. The message to his players after the final whistle in Athens said it all. He told them how proud he was, not just for getting through, but for how they responded to adversity. For how they grew into the tie, played with unity, and embraced the chaos instead of folding under it. 5 weeks into a new system, a new voice, and a new vision. Rangers are showing real signs of evolution. The manager's words in the dressing room were candid. He reminded the players of how far they've come in such a short time. He acknowledged the challenges of going away in Europe, the kind of tests that reveal more about a team's character than any training session ever could. And he praised their reaction to setbacks, their ability to stay compact, play quicker, and crank up the aggression when the moment called for it. The second half in Athens showed all of that and more. It showed a team learning how to manage games, how to weather storms, and how to fight for every inch when it matters most. Now comes the next test, and it's another serious hurdle. Rangers are set to face Victoria Plzen in the next round of Czech side with a rich recent history in European competition. They're not giants, but they're stubborn, battle-tested, and very, very capable of ruining someone's plans. Plzen reached this stage in dramatic fashion, coming back from a 1-0 defeat at home to beat Servette 3-1 in Geneva, their winner coming from the penalty spot just minutes before the final whistle. It was the kind of comeback that builds momentum, that injects belief into a squad and reminds opponents that this team does not lie down easily. For Rangers, that makes the assignment crystal clear. Complacency is not an option. Every mistake will be punished, every lapse magnified. The first leg at Ibrox, scheduled for the 5th of August, will be crucial. The home crowd, so often a decisive factor on European nights, must turn the stadium into a furnace. Rangers will need to press high strike early and keep the tempo relentless, because the return leg in the Czech Republic will be a war of attrition, and taking a lead that could be the difference between reaching the playoff round or dropping into the Europa League. And make no mistake, while the Europa League is a solid safety net, the real ambition is the Champions League. That's the goal. That's where the money is. That's where the prestige is. It's where Rangers feel they belong. The group stage of Europe's elite competition isn't just about bragging rights. It's about growth, recruitment, and revenue. It's about elevating the entire profile of the club, both financially and on the global stage. And that's why every step of this qualifying process is being treated like a final. The intensity of the schedule means rotation will be key and squad depth will be tested, which brings us full circle to the transfer market. Because as Rangers move deeper into European qualifiers, the need for reliable options in every position becomes more urgent. That's why the push for someone like KC Ouattara carries even more weight. He's not just a long-term prospect. He's a player who could be thrown into the fire right away. And in a summer where every decision feels like it could swing the season one way or the other, nailing these signings is absolutely critical. There's also a psychological element that shouldn't be underestimated. Each European round Rangers survive makes them a more attractive destination. For players on the fence watching from a distance, the idea of joining a club that's knocking on the Champions League door is far more enticing than one still rebuilding. Ouattara wants minutes, yes, but he also wants a platform. Rangers can offer that, and every qualifying round they clear strengthens their case. Still, the competition isn't sitting still. Celtic, with their own ambitions and a similar gap at left back, are watching just as closely. Their approach may differ, perhaps they're exploring multiple targets or waiting to see how the market shifts. But they're absolutely in the conversation, and for both clubs, the days ahead could shape not only their squads, but the story of their seasons. Will Rangers act fast enough to close the deal? Will Celtic jump in with a counteroffer that changes everything? Or will Monaco hold firm and force both to rethink their strategies? Whatever happens, this isn't just about a transfer. It's about pride. It's about building momentum at the exact moment when everything is in play. The league title, European progression, and the battle for dominance in Scottish football. The rivalry between Rangers and Celtic never rests. It adapts, shifts, and manifests in new ways. And this summer, the battleground is as much the negotiating table as it is the pitch. And while the future of Ouattara remains uncertain, one thing is becoming increasingly clear. Rangers are moving with intent. There's belief in the project energy around the squad, and a sense that this summer could be the foundation of something much bigger. The performance against Panathinaikos, especially under pressure, wasn't just a result. It was a statement, a message that this team is learning how to win ugly when it counts, how to absorb pressure and hit back, and how to carry themselves with the maturity of a side that wants to be back among Europe's elite. The days ahead will bring more questions, more speculation, and possibly more twists in the Ouattara saga. But for now, the mission remains unchanged. Keep progressing in Europe, keep building the squad, and stay one step ahead of the competition. Whether that means outplaying them on the pitch or outmaneuvering them in the market. The season hasn't even started, but the storylines are already unfolding at full speed. And as always in Glasgow, it's not just about winning, it's about beating your biggest rival to the punch. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to get all the exclusive news about Rangers FC. Don't overlook any details about your beloved team. It's crucial for Rangers FC fans. In the swirling mists of Ibrox, a storm may be quietly brewing, as whispers begin to circulate surrounding comments allegedly made by Rangers manager Russell Martin. According to sources close to the club, Martin is said to have voiced deep concerns regarding the behavior and attitude of an unnamed player within the squad, describing him as a contaminating influence on the rest of the dressing room. While no official statement has been released by the club, insiders suggest that Martin's frustration has been mounting over recent weeks, with tensions reportedly escalating behind closed doors. The manager, who took over the reins at Rangers, with high expectations, is believed to be increasingly aware of a divisive presence that could be undermining team cohesion. Some observers note that recent inconsistencies in performances and body language on the pitch might be early signs of underlying discord. With the season's crucial phase approaching, the possibility of internal unrest could not have emerged at a worse time. The term contaminating has sparked much speculation among supporters and pundits alike, leaving many to wonder just how severe the situation might be. Could this be a tactical ploy, or is Martin signaling a deeper problem that demands immediate resolution? While Martin has previously been praised for his calm demeanor and leadership, the reported choice of words marks a departure from his usual tone. Contaminating is not a term thrown around lightly in professional football, especially within a tight-knit environment of a top-tier Scottish side like Rangers. This has led to conjecture over whether the gaffer is attempting to send a clear message to the rest of the squad, or perhaps even to the club's hierarchy. Some speculate that the player in question may have influence among teammates, potentially causing friction in training sessions and creating a rift between those loyal to the coach and those aligning themselves with the disruptive figure. It's understood that Martin has been meeting more frequently with senior club officials, raising eyebrows about whether disciplinary measures or even a mid-season transfer could be on the horizon. Fans, meanwhile, have taken to forums and social media, trying to piece together clues, scrutinizing matchday squads and bench reactions. The tension is palpable, and while no names have been confirmed, the rumor mill continues to turn with growing intensity. All signs suggest that Martin may be preparing to make a bold move in an effort to restore harmony before it's too late. Adding more intrigue to the situation, several players were reportedly involved in a heated exchange during a recent closed-door training session at the Rangers training center. Witnesses described raised voices, animated gestures, and what some called a visible split within the squad. While bust-ups in training are not uncommon at competitive levels, the timing and context of this incident have only added fuel to the speculation. Russell Martin, known for valuing unity and collective spirit, is believed to have been particularly displeased with how the session unfolded. According to one club source, he sees the emerging division as toxic and is determined to root it out before it begins to impact results in earnest. The term contaminating reportedly came up during a candid talk between Martin and his coaching staff, sparking concerns that he may have lost faith in one of his key players. As of now, there is no official indication that the club plans to take disciplinary action, but the silence is almost as telling as a public admission. The tension behind the scenes is mounting, and the fear among supporters is that such internal drama could derail the club's campaign just when consistency is most required. The identity of the player at the center of the controversy remains shrouded in mystery, though some fans have begun to speculate based on recent absences, substitutions, and off-field demeanor. One name that keeps surfacing is that of a high-profile midfielder who, despite being a regular fixture last season, has seen his minutes drastically reduced. However, any such connections are purely conjectural at this point. What is more certain is the increasing scrutiny placed upon Martin and his man management skills. Some argue that using a word as strong as contaminating may reflect poorly on his ability to handle interpersonal dynamics, while others believe it shows a no-nonsense approach required to steer the club towards silverware. Whatever the case, the pressure is mounting, not just on the player allegedly involved, but also on the manager who must now navigate these murky waters with care. The media have begun circling, with questions inevitably to be raised at the next press conference. Until then, speculation remains the only currency available to supporters, and each passing day without clarity only deepens the mystery surrounding the Ibrox dressing room. With Rangers still locked in a tight title race, the potential fallout from this internal saga could have serious implications. Its team morale, once thought to be one of Martin's strengths, is now under the microscope, with many wondering if the manager can restore balance before fractures become permanent. The January transfer window, just months away, may offer the clearest opportunity for a resolution, either through the exit of the disruptive figure or a shakeup to reaffirm control. However, Others caution that waiting too long could allow the so-called contaminating presence to further destabilize an already delicate situation. Some close to the club have hinted that Martin is weighing his options carefully, perhaps even considering bringing in external advisors or former players to help realign the group. As the rumor spreads across Scottish football, rival fans have begun to mock the turmoil. But seasoned observers know that locker room drama can either destroy a campaign or forge unshakable unity. Russell Martin's next move could define not only the trajectory of Rangers' season, but also his own managerial legacy in one of football's most passionate arenas. Greetings, fans! Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, as it's greatly appreciated by Rangers. See, and don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments section below. Until the next video, stay tuned.